Hello, hello. I hope you are doing okay today. I'm making these videos really so I can give some perspectives onto things and maybe folks can examine, their perspectives or examine their ways of beings or whatever, right? And I'm getting messages like, "Oh, you are great," or "You're awesome." I mean, thank you, but that's really not what this is, right? This is not really some thing of putting me on some pedestals, and that's really not about that. So I just really wanted to share, and I'm realizing that when we talk in theory, it's hard for folks to grasp. That's what I'm starting to understand. Folks need something very tangible and concrete to kind of look at and think about. So I wanted to share with you today about the story of how I came to realize and how I learned to use my privilege. Yeah, so because, and then, let's face it, folks, my fellow Asian folks and non-Black POC folks, there are a lot that we are benefiting from. We may not be white, and I certainly am not white, but proximity to whiteness, because of how light our skin color is, our skin tone is, that's real. That's something that we have to be aware of. If we are not aware of it, then we may play into it and play into the anti-Blackness that we actually may be hurting Black and brown folks. So I just want to share my story with you. Those of you who know me long enough, or people probably who heard some podcasts or whatever, they know, or I have lived in domestic violence shelter, and I have, I was on public assistance. I was a single mom, so all of that, right? And in that, I saw how folks are being treated in those systems. It's really, I was saddened the way that people can be treated. At the bottom of, at the time when you really need the support, to get support, that you have to be treated so, for the lack of better term, shitty. And there are folks who are well-meaning working in the system too, right? So again, whenever I talk about things like this, I'm not knocking anyone per se, but the overall structure is extremely unkind and very degrading. So, I was there. I'm seeing how folks are being treated and how I'm being treated, how I'm made to feel. And I was not consciously aware of this at that moment. But what I did at that moment is something that I reflected on later, and I was like, I get it. Because what did I do? I played into my Asianness. Because I knew if I acted a bit more Asian, in whatever way that I knew how, if I dressed a certain way, and because of the way I look, I could be treated differently. Did I get more things? No, I didn't. Did I fuck anybody over by doing this? Most likely I didn't. But was I treated better because of the way I look and because of the way I acted? Because how I played into my privilege? Yes, I did. I was treated a bit nicely, a bit more nicely. How would I say it? I don't know. So yeah, I didn't know it then, because I think it was also survival, right? And I think that's what we do to try to avoid painful situation by any means necessary or available at that point. Am I proud of it? No, I'm not proud of it, but I'm just sharing it with you. That's what I did. And I'm not saying to you that everybody will have the same exact experience. But the thing is, this is the interesting thing, because subconsciously I was aware that I could use it, right? No one taught me. It was just by the way that society has treated me, because of the certain comments people made, I knew subconsciously what I needed to do to get what I wanted, which was a little better treatment, right? Treat it a bit more humanely, right? So, the question that I have for you is, in what way am I doing this? In what way am I not catching myself? Because I did not catch myself then, but through my self-reflections and practices of looking at myself and trying to know myself and trying to see what this whole thing is about, I caught myself. So then now I have an awareness around my actions, right? And if I didn't have that practice, so I would imagine if I didn't have the practice, and if I did not check myself, and if my implicit bias and privileges are unchecked, then I could be using that knowingly or unknowingly to my advantage and hurting other people for that. So this is only one example of probably so many. But I just wanted to share this with you because it's not like I was born knowing all these way of seeing things. It comes from practice of looking at my actions and looking at myself and looking at what's happening around me in the world, and just really understanding what goes into create that. And I understand for many of you this may be very painful for you, but the thing is, your conscience will be clear once you come to realize it is what it is. This is the work I have to do, and I can do this because this is a mindfulness practice. So today I want to give you a mindfulness challenge for the next 30 days. I want you to think about how you show up in a certain situation. Maybe it was a certain situation that you were very uncomfortable because something was happening, but you weren't quite sure what it was. Maybe you took advantage of the situation and you don't know how to feel about it, or you don't know how to reconcile with that. I want you to challenge yourself to be mindful and to look into that for the next 30 days. People love 30-day challenges, right? So here we go. Let's do that one. Be mindful of your implicit bias and your privilege 30-day challenge. I'm challenging you, and invite your friends. All right. So good luck. Let me know how it goes.